So in setting up chess, the white queen will always be on her color and the king to her right. And then the bishops, knights, and rooks will be outside, and there will be 8 pawns in the front row. On the black side, everything will be the same except the queen will be on her color and opposite from the white queen over here. And the white king will be opposite of the black king. So in chess, whenever you're capturing a piece, you never jump the piece to capture. You always land on top of it in order to capture. So the pawn, when it moves, it will always move 1 space forward and never backwards, unless it is your first move of that pawn and it can move 2 spaces forward. And from there on out, it will only be able to move 1 space forward. The pawn is also the only piece that attacks differently than it moves. Even though it moves forward, the pawn can attack diagonally and diagonally only. And on a pawn not on the edge, it will be able to attack this way and to the left. So the rook will be able to move any number of spaces to the left and right, or forward and backward. So the knight is probably one of the most complicated pieces. It moves in an L shape, like this, in any direction. So it'll either move 2 spaces one direction and 1 space in another direction, or 1 space in one direction and 2 spaces in another direction. And it can do that in any number of directions. So it can move here, 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 or here. And this is also the only piece that's able to jump over other pieces. So, like the rook, the bishop can move any number of spaces, but in this case diagonally instead of straight. And if you notice, you have 2 bishops, one on a black square and one on a white square. And the white bishop will never be on a black square, and the black bishop will never be on a white square. So the queen is like a combination of the rook and the bishop. It can move any number of spaces, side to side, front and back, or diagonally in both directions. So the king can move 1 space in any direction. So here, 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 or here. And it is your most valuable piece, and if the opponent can capture your king next turn, it's called a check. So for example, if their knight was right here, they would be able to capture your king the next turn, and you would have to get out of check by next turn. There's 3 ways to get out of check. The first way would be to block the opponent's move. In this case, this is a knight, and you cannot block the opponent because they can jump over any piece that's trying to block. The second way would be capture the piece that's putting you in check. In this case, we can't do that either because we don't have any pieces here. And the third way would be move your king out of check, which we can do. So if you move our king, now there's no pieces that can capture it next turn. Okay, so now we have the king in a check scenario because the queen can capture it next turn. But this is a special kind of check called checkmate. In this case, the king cannot get out of check by next turn. If he tries to move, he can only move right here, but he would still be in check. And there's no way to capture the opponent's queen, and we can't block the queen with any other piece. In this case, the black team wins because the white king is in checkmate.